this is BigStar Chess Club. Today we're going to talk about an opening for black, and this opening sort of goes back to the concept of not moving your queen too early, except it's sort of the opposite, so you will bring out your queen in this opening. And this opening is called the Scandinavian Defense. So the first move for white is probably going to be e2 to e4. That's how you can play the Scandinavian Defense. If your opponent, who is white, plays e2 to e4, then you would respond with not as such a common move, but it would be d7 to d5. And reason why is you're attacking the center. You don't want them to be just controlling the center the whole time. That's the point of the Scandinavian Defense. So white most commonly will always take, and then what you do is now you take the queen, and you take your queen and then take the pawn. Now, as we said, you don't want to bring out your queen too early, but in this opening, you should bring out your queen. And then, but the one bad part about this is you might lose some tempo while your opponent gains tempo, and the reason why is then white will just start attacking your queen. And the best move here is to go to a5. And the reason why is now your queen really can't get attacked because if they move that, that's just a free piece. And there's not much black can do here. White can do here. White would probably just respond with just moving a knight or even playing something as d4 to try to develop a piece and attack the center. Now, a common mistake that sometimes people make is like coming to e5, which is a check, but it's not very effective because white can just block it, right? And that doesn't really do anything. And you see how they have two pieces developed while we only have one piece developed, which is our queen, right? But the good thing is our queen is the most powerful piece. So let's go back. So we were here, right? So now after, let's say, I don't know, black plays this, you want to play c7 to c6. And the reason why is now this gives a lane for your queen to come back. But the one bad part about that move is that your knight can't come here anymore. So you only have to go to d7. That's the only way you could develop your knight. And then white would probably respond playing the two knights game. And then you could probably play bishop. This is not a bad move. You could play knight, f6. There's a lot of variations to this. So that's what we're going to talk about now, is another variation that you could play, e4, d5, is now instead of taking, because this is an isolated pawn now, because the only way that white is protecting this is either if they move their bishop here or their knight here. That's the only two ways. Another move you can do, it's called the modern Scandinavian Defense, is you would actually play the knight. I don't know why that keeps happening. You'd play the knight to f6. So now you're attacking this pawn, but you've also developed a piece. And then what you would do after that, hold on. There was a knight. So then white would probably respond by trying to protect it. And then you can go ahead. And honestly, now you can go ahead and take, because if you take, they would take, but then you would take. So now you just got 4 points right there because you took a pawn and a knight, so 3 plus 1 is 4, while your opponent only got a knight. Or the better move, what you could do, is maybe move your bishop to f5, or even really moving this pawn right here. So now you can go try to pin it if they try to play something. Oh, and another thing that you might have noticed is that now white has stacked pawns, which is never good, because if that pawn is there, then that doesn't really do anything because this pawn is now stuck, right? And sort of blocks the way of the queen from coming. It can only come this way, right? So those are just some things to keep in mind while playing Scandinavian Defense. So again, the main variation of Scandinavian is e4, then you would play d5, and this is sort of like a questionable move that what your opponent might think. So they probably would take, you bring out your queen to try to control the center, and then you could bring out here. Or another thing I also forgot to mention is you can just come back to d6 to try to stay in the middle, or come to a5. But both of those work. So the main principle of it, again, is you want to try to counterattack the center and not let white just develop and control the center the whole time. You want to try to make it hard on them. And that's the whole purpose of the Scandinavian Defense. Thank you for watching, and this is BigStar Chess Club.